I'll hand things back to you.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Really appreciate you. Amazing. And Kaiser Permanente, thank you so much. Okay, so before we get to our keynote speaker this morning, we have a special guest that's going to join us that has been a leader in our community, a leader on the courts. And Bev Smith, I am going to ask you to unmute and join me now. Bev, it's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Okay. So those of you that don't know Bev Smith, she is the Executive Director of Kidsports. She was a leader on the basketball courts for many years as a player, as a coach, and not only that, but she's just been a leader in our community. She's been a friend to me. She's been a cohort to me on the radio for many years and supporting me just in life's journey as well. So Bev, I'm so excited to have a couple of minutes here to share with you, hear from you about being a leader. So welcome. Hi.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And thank you to the sponsors who make this leadership summit happen. I think that's really, really important. I know Kidsports and Civic Park could not make it without our sponsors. So there's a lot of you, and really appreciate all you do in our community to lift the community and help us be together for important moments like this.
Absolutely, Bev. It's so good to see you. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes to chat here. And I just want to start with, I've talked about this from introducing you, a leader on the courts, a leader with Kidsports for the last 12 years, the executive director. What is being a leader on the courts to being a leader of Kidsports? What does leadership mean to you, and how have you kind of taken the different areas of leadership that you've had throughout your life and brought it to what Kidsports is today? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, great question. And I'm still learning about leadership, obviously, every single day, and certainly with our current challenges of COVID and all that goes with it. You discover new areas in which to lead, and I think everybody's seen that. But I think for me, it basically goes back to my family. I was one of 4 kids, and so we had a great team with my mom and dad, and we just have always followed that together, everyone achieves more. And being on a basketball team, being involved with a team, I think that's really, really important. And I think for me, leadership, there's no magical solution to leadership. There are guiding principles that we can all read about in books and seminars and visit here. But I think you really have to discover your own leadership skills. And that depends on where you are, who you're with, how you're leading. On the basketball court, you could lead really by action all the time. As a coach, you had to create some leadership skills that would motivate and provide discipline and provide an avenue for your athletes to show their leadership skills. And then as an executive director, I'm now working with adults. And I still feel that the most important thing is with leadership, you can never underestimate the work ethic that it takes. You really have to be passionate about what you're pursuing, and that passion then trickles down to who you're working with. And so we've done that through the years with Kidsports. Certainly our goal is to provide the best early positive sport experience we can for children. And so with that as our goal, everything we do is wrapped around that kind of action. What is the action we need to do to make that happen?
Okay, so Bev, you hit in a very kind of a stressful time, and a time where you didn't probably know if you keep the doors open, but you moved from Polk Street over to the South Eugene area with the beautiful Kidsports building. It hit during a time of COVID. Can you talk about being a leader and keeping your staff who you work with, not only the staff, but the kids in the community, the parents in the community at large, to move into that big, beautiful space, have it under construction during a time, and then not only that, but opening it up. So how did you lead your team? And then not only that, at the same time, the families in the community to really be positive and grow through this time?
Yeah, well, it was a challenging time for all of us. And I think what we felt is that children through COVID really needed a space and a place to have some sort of normalcy, to come out and do what kids do best, and that's play. Play, develop, have fun. And the biggest part of that was certainly their social, emotional, and mental health. And so our team, we didn't look at it like, if this is going to happen. We asked ourselves, how can we make this happen? And I really have to tip my hat to our team here at Kidsports. They're passionate. And so, I talked about the work ethic. What we also had to do was figure out how to work not only hard, but work smart and stay together through it. And I just think when you have a great team, and that's half the battle of being a leader, is finding those pieces that make a great team. We leaned on each other, and they came up with a plan that I really thought, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work. But, as a leader, you can't just be focused on analyzing, because it becomes paralyzing. And we got into that a little bit, is this right? Is this right? We looked at what we could do to keep kids safe. And then we went with 8 weeks of summer camp that turned out to be some of the best times we've ever had at Kidsports, because we worked directly with parents, we worked directly with adults. And I think we at times didn't know exactly how we were going to make it work, but with in mind on keeping kids safe, that led us through everything. And we just got better. So we worked hard, we worked smarter, and we worked together. And those three things I think really help as a leader. And sometimes you just got to get out of the way of your team. And I've learned to do that. I've learned to really trust them, because everything that they have worked hard to make happen at the field house and at Civic Park has happened. I mean, they decided this summer they were going to have a water camp. And I'm like, a water camp? We don't have a pool here at Kidsports. And they said, Bev, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And we think the kids are going to love it. We had more kids sign up for the week of water camp than any other camp. And it was absolutely fantastic. And so as a leader, I just applaud them. And, I help them to tweak things, because sometimes if it doesn't go well, you always have to think experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. And you always learn from those things. And so I just think as a leader, sometimes they say a leader isn't someone special. It's just that we get out in front, we have the courage to do it first, and do it well, and then learn from it.
Well, oh my gosh, you have, I want to applaud you, and I think everybody on here too. I know I just have to share a little experience about it. I got the chills when during a time of so many things being shut down and not moving forward, and construction being shut down. I drive Willamette and look down onto the fields of Kidsports and just seeing it coming together. Then all of a sudden seeing kids out there masked up, playing and thriving, and parents, there was some protocol you had to go through to deal with the kids being able to be on the fields, the parents being outside the gates, watching and dropping off. And how did you walk through that time of just making this happen, when it was a time when really there was probably this, should we open it up? Should we not? How did you deal with the emotions, I guess, of parents, kids, and the community?
Well, I think we really weighed the benefits of this versus if we didn't open up and provide some kind of outlet for children and parents. And I must say, I just take my hat off to the community. I really have to thank our volunteer coaches. They make our organization what it is today. And without them, we couldn't have delivered those important programs for kids. They really are the heroes in our community. And we thank them because they followed everything we asked them to do. They were our conduit to parents. They helped us to sort of de-escalate some of those emotions. I must say to the parents, I think they really put their kids first. They couldn't come in and watch sometimes. That's a hard thing, because that's part of the youth sport experience, is seeing your child play, develop, and have fun and encourage them. And so we just really laid out a strict plan. My staff, our team, were absolutely committed to being here on a Friday night, on a Saturday all day, on a Sunday, on a Monday night, to get families in here, to temperature check each and every one of them. I mean, that was challenging, but we had people really comply with that. And it does take a community effort to make these things happen for our kids, which is why I feel, Eugene Springfield has an incredible compassion for their kids. And we really made it happen for them, and they are our future. And so I want them to look back and see what, people did in the community. You always have your favorite teacher, you always have your favorite coach. These kids are going to have their favorite community, and our community. I mean, we have people driving over from Springfield and parking in the parking lot and waiting for their kids to do their activity and then come back out. I mean, that is commitment to community. And so we've been very fortunate, with Kidsports and Civic Park, the Eugene Civic Alliance, the other nonprofit that's worked so hard to get this park ready to go for our kids. I think it's just trying to stay true to what your goal is. And what's hard is to actualize and operationalize those kind of things. So, when we look back at last summer, I'm not sure how we did it, or last fall, being here for so many hours, but we had great community buy-in. And I can't tell you how grateful we are to come to work every day to have a community like this that cares as they do.
Okay, and before I let you go, Bev, being a leader and then working with leaders, because when we talked a little bit, we talked about you are the leader, you're the executive director of Kidsports, but you have brought into your team many leaders too. So on a closing note, what would you say about leadership and surrounding yourself with those that lead as well?
Yeah, I think, I think you have to find your own way to lead. You have to know who your people are, and you have to invest in them. And I think, you have to provide a lane with which that they can discover their strengths. And it's just really about bringing out in them what they have in themselves, rather than trying to, morph them in your way of leadership. All of my team does things differently. There's no doubt about it. They have quirks and quirks, and you have to, bring them back into doing things in a way that is constructive and positive, because we're humans and they've gone through this trauma of COVID as well. And they're exhausted. They have this level of exhaustion. But as we talk about, we don't have the monopoly on that. Everyone on this call has felt that sort of exhaustion and that trauma, which is why I think we've really just tried to be aware and to be compassionate with each other and with the community. And we always want to say, hey, don't be furious when people are acting out. Be curious, like not what happened to you, not what's wrong with you, but what happened to you through this. And I think when you have that awareness, people then relax a little bit and know that you're not attacking them, but you're helping them to find a way to get back to being productive and constructive with everything that we do.
Oh, Bev, thank you so much. Bev Smith, everyone, the executive director of Kidsports. Don't be furious, be curious. That is my takeaway today. Thank you so much, Bev, for joining us. Appreciate all you do in our community, and we applaud you, and go kids.
Well, thank you. Go kids.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many times I've interviewed Bev on the radio, and at the very end, it would be, okay, thanks. Bye, Bev. It's been nice. And she would just do a big shout out, go kids. So kids are our focal point in life. And we have a real good leadership in Kidsports and all that are involved there. So, all right. Well, that was exciting. And we have more guest speakers throughout this summit that I'm really excited to share with you and check in with them throughout the summit. So be excited as well.